How's it going, everyone? My name is Sinikle, and welcome back to yet another Higurashi, When They Cry. We are continuing on with the final chapter, Chapter 8, Matsuribayashi. And if you want to get caught up, the link to the playlist, as always, is in the description down below, so go ahead and check that out. But without further ado, let's go ahead and continue. Wonder what this has in store for us. How long have I been crying? I don't even know how long I've been comforted like this. My grandfather's hand is on my cheek to comfort me. I'm holding his hand lovingly and pressing my cheek against it.
落ち着いたかな?
おじいちゃん。
My grandfather put his other hand on my head. The warmth of his palms gradually calmed me down. Piles of documents were all around me. It was a mistake to sort through data while lying on the fluffy carpet. I must have fallen asleep and had a terrible dream.
うつ伏せに寝ると胸が苦しくて悪い夢を見やすいんだよ。もうこんな時間だ。美代子は部屋に帰って寝なさい。
全然平気。居眠りしちゃってたから眠気がなくなっちゃった。もうすぐで終わるの。だから終わらせちゃうね。
明日も学校がある。もう寝ないとまた先生にあくびを怒られてしまうよ。
I've been going to bed late recently. Because of that, I yawn a lot at school. A teacher must have written a note to my grandfather.
大丈夫。ちゃんと終わったら寝る。だから続きをさせて。それに、おじいちゃんも私に構ってちゃダメ。早く書斎に戻って論文の続きを書くの。
The day for him to present his findings is approaching. He's been working so hard, devoting himself to his research, but there's unfortunately a limit to what an individual can do. He needs a collaborator in order to go further with his research. He has to explain that his investigation could be the key to solving the mysteries of human behavior, and make people understand just how important his work is. But this research is about a very complicated subject, so he couldn't seek assistance from just anyone. Someone will be able to help him one day. Believing that, my grandfather earnestly continued his research. I want to help him more, but all I can do is sort through his data and tidy up his materials. I also assist him around the house so he can concentrate more on his research. He always tells me how helpful I am, but that isn't enough for me. I will study hard, get into a good college, and learn many things so I can actually be of assistance to his research. I'm a mediocre student right now, and I don't particularly like school. Who doesn't? Who does, I mean. But I will do it anyway. I want to help my grandfather. If his heart were to fail and he couldn't continue his research, I wouldn't hesitate to cut open my chest and offer my heart up for him. Damn! Dedication there, oh my god. If he needs lungs, I'll give him my lungs. If any of his organs fail, I'll give him mine. There's nothing strange about those feelings. Although it wouldn't work because a grown adult needs a grown adult organ. I believe. Right? Yeah. Because a kid is still growing, you know? Their organs and everything is still growing, right? So, yeah. Too small of an organ for an adult. Anyway, sorry. My mind just... bleh. They're perfectly normal ones. For if he had found me even a day later, I might not even be alive. Have been alive, excuse me. Or even if I lived, it would either be without my body intact, or with my mind lost to me. In other words, I'm alive because my grandfather came to save me. If he hadn't rushed to find me, I wouldn't be here. So I won't hesitate to give up my life for him. Moreover, I'd be more than happy to do that. Even though I want to be with him forever, human lives aren't immortal. Just like how my parents died. It happens so suddenly, without any warning. I will never heal from my parents' deaths. But now that I have my grandfather here, I'm not sad. However, his existence isn't eternal either. He may disappear all of a sudden, for any unexpected reason, just like my parents. That's why I wish to be part of him. That way, no matter what happens, we will be together forever. I don't want to be alone ever again. I want to be with my grandfather forever. I want to help him forever.
わかった。じゃあ、この資料の整理が終わったらちゃんと寝るんだよ。約束。
約束。
We pinky promised after that. We smiled at each other, and my grandfather went back to his study. The dried-up tears are making my cheeks itch. I headed to the bathroom to wash my face and brush my teeth. I looked at my face in the mirror. None of my grandfather's features are recognizable on my face. Of course they aren't. We're not related. He must have a family too, but I've never heard about them. He doesn't seem to want to talk about that subject, so I don't ever ask him about it. I don't care if he has a real grandchild or not. Even if I'm not related to him, I'm a granddaughter of Hifumi Takano. I'm not just a granddaughter either. I want to be more than that. I don't want a parent and child relationship, nor a lover's... that would be a little bit creepy, I'm just saying. But, okay, I can understand. Nor a lover's relationship. Nothing like that. I would be very concerned. I want something more certain that binds our souls. Nothing that... Sorry. Something. I don't know why I said nothing. Something that not even a tragedy can destroy. I am Miyoko Takano. Hifumi Takano's granddaughter. Maybe it should be Mayo instead. Is it Mio or Mayo? Fuck. That's what my grandfather sometimes calls me. I want to succeed Hifumi's spirit. Since his name counts from 1 to 3, I want us to share that 3 and be the 4th in his line. Today my name changes. I wrote that new name in the mirror. Mio Takano. I think it's Mio, yeah. Anyway. What a wonderful name for the new me. Okay.
大佐殿、 ご無沙汰いたしております。
高野くん、だからもう大差はなしだよ。なしなし。暮れに具合を悪くしたと聞いてから心配してたんだよ。でも元気そうで何より。
My grandfather always told me he doesn't have any friends. He used to tell me everyone died in the war. But that's not true. He has one very close friend. This is him. He's an elderly man my grandfather calls Kono Kayazumi. I don't know exactly where they met, but every time they get together, all they talk about is the military and the war. So I guess that's where they met.
みおちゃんも大きくなったね。今身長は何センチくらいになったんだい？
この間身体検査があったけど、2センチ伸びました。
そうかそうか。育ち盛りはいいの。いっぱい食べて、いっぱい運動して、いっぱい大きくなるんだよ。いいなあ、高野くんはこんなに可愛いお孫さんに恵まれて。
Mr. Kayazumi knows that my grandfather and I aren't related, but he always calls me his granddaughter. That makes me very happy, so I poured a little more black tea in his cup. After I finished serving tea, I left with a bow. I want to stay and listen to them talk, but I guess my grandfather doesn't want me to hear stories of the war, so he always makes me leave. I left before I was told to. But having to leave doesn't mean I need to go to a different room. I just headed to the other side of this huge living room instead. Although I'm not right beside them, I can still sit on the sofa and listen to their conversation. And if they need something, I can help them right away. I try to earn points that way to prove I'm useful. Point system. Kids. I sat on the sofa away from them and started reading an encyclopedia. While doing that, I tried to listen to their conversation. Eavesdropping! Rude.
それはよかった。教授たちは都合が合えば再来週の日曜日にも早速来たいって言ってくれたよ。
本当ですか？ありがとうございます、小泉さん。
いや。高野くんが書いたレポートがそれだけ興味深かったことの証左だの。かなり関心を持ってくれてね。ノーベル賞ものの研究になるかもしれないと非常に受けが良かった。
ノーベル賞だなんてそんな。いや、お言葉だけでも恐縮です。
My grandfather laughed. Since he laughed so cheerfully, something great must have happened. Mr. Kayazumi must have shown the society the essay my grandfather was about to announce, and gauged their reactions. Gauged, whatever. And supposedly they found it extremely interesting. That means they recognized the value of my grandfather's research. That makes me happy too.
しかし、いつも心配なのは、君自身がHinamizawa症候群に感染してしまってやしないかということだね。君が自分の首をかきむしるようなことがないよう気をつけてくれよ。
ひょっとすると私もすでに感染しているかもしれませんな。でもHinamizawa症候群は普通に生活する分には決して危険な病気ではないのです。村人たちがお社様信仰を作り出し、厳しい戒律で自らを縛った頃はかなり危険な病気だったかもしれない。
If that's true, then what about Keiichi? What the fuck? He was living a normal life. Why did he have these weird-ass hallucinations and shit? All the way back in chapter 1. Right? He was living a normal life. Huh. Well, actually, no. He moved there because of one reason of him behaving extremely badly towards other kids. I guess that wouldn't constitute a normal life. That might have been the cause. He was hiding a secret. Whatever, okay. Anyway.
でも、時間とともにそれは薄まり、今ではよっぽどのことがない限り発症することはないようです。
Something major.
あれだけの発症例があったのに?
Huh, interesting.
南沢症候群の発症には、特に精神の状態が重要なのです。普通に心穏やかに生活している分には何にも悪さをしない病気なのです。
Now Rena, she didn't have a normal life. Her life was a little bit messed up. Yeah. Unfortunate.
戦争という異常な状況下で精神が追い詰められた時のみ発症する。
Right.
そうです。
Oh, wait. Okay. It first started for him when news about this dismemberment started popping up. Yeah, okay. I guess that's what initially caused it to start developing. Man, that's fucked up. Oh my god. Alright. Sorry, I like to reminisce about the past chapters. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
初期の自覚症状はうつ状態に似た疑心暗鬼。それを自覚したら、高野式呼吸法などにより心身のリラックスを図り、かつ9時間以上の睡眠を1週間以上とる。
At least 9 hours of sleep a night. Are you kidding me? I can barely get 6 hours. You madman. Damn.
これで発症など未然に防げてしまうのです。実際、私の指導下にあったhinamizawa出身兵士は一人も開始しませんでしたぞ。
As he talks, grandfather started demonstrating the Takano breathing method and a bizarre exercise technique. According to him, this technique relaxes the body and lets blood and lymphatic fluid flow smoothly. As a result, you relax emotionally too. Okay. But the movements involved in the technique are so weird. I had to look away because my grandfather looked so silly. Oh my god, he looks so silly. That was the one thing about his research that I felt bad about. Oh. Grandfather asked me to do this exercise too. I don't want to make him sad, so I did it when instructed.
ならばいいんだがね。研究対象が元で死に至ってる医学者は過去にもたくさんいる。君も気をつけての。
だが、研究に準じた彼らの偉業は死後も揺るがない。研究者としては本懐でしたでしょうな。
Grandfather tells me about Hideo Nagoshi often. I couldn't hear him pronounce it. Fuck. Is it like Hideyoshi? But just Hideo? Naguchi. Okay. He was born as the son of a poor farmer, but he studied hard and became a doctor. Oh, well, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, just work hard, man. Achieve your dreams. However, he was mistreated because of his background. Yeah, that will happen. So he left to Japan. He moved to the United States. There, he made many accomplishments as a researcher. He discovered a vaccine for yellow fever. Grandfather's background is somewhat similar to his. So he often said that all researchers, he admired him the most out of all other researchers. I'm screwing up a lot. I don't know why I have this problem with Higurashi and not Umineko. I don't understand. It's weird. Anyway, Ryo Noguchi died in North Africa. While he discovered a vaccine for yellow fever, he heard it wasn't effective on yellow fever in North Africa. He went there to research it, came down with the disease, and died. A researcher losing his life for his research. Sometimes that is a test of a researcher's courage. In that sense, Grandfather is very brave to visit Hinamizawa himself to gather information. He himself says he may already be infected. Although my grandfather estimates from ancient texts that the Hinamizawa syndrome was only a menace centuries ago. And now it's no different from the usual bacteria that share a symbiosis with humans. Many people become ill with the disease during the war, but that was because they were in an extremely abnormal situation. In today's peaceful environment, it's almost impossible for a person to develop symptoms. He sounds very optimistic, but he never brought me with him to Hinamizawa. So, maybe he isn't as optimistic as all that. However, since I live with him, there is a possibility that I am already infected as well. But I'm not worried at all. That's because my grandfather has taught me that as long as I maintain myself physically and emotionally, I won't develop any symptoms. I know all about the horrible terminal symptoms of Hinamizawa syndrome, but I'm not overly fearful of them. Grandfather is enjoying his conversation with Mr. Koizumi. That's understandable. Mr. Koizumi told him some people showed great interest in his report. They even want to come over on Sunday, the week after next, to meet and talk to him directly. With the rapid advance of modern medicine, unexplored frontiers are steadily dwindling. Was it possible the Hinamizawa syndrome my grandfather discovered might be a new continent in the field? It'll be decided in 2 weeks. It sounds like there will be more than one person coming. And it also sounds like there are all important people in the society. They're all rich and famous, yet they aren't satisfied with just that. They all want to be involved with something that's worth an international award. Oh yeah, the Nobel Prize, yeah, I got it. This is a chance to gain assistance and sponsorship at the same time.
では、再来週。私も様子を見に来ます。
That was a long read session, goddamn.
ぜひ頑張ってください。
Yeah.
これもすべて小泉さんのおかげです。本当にありがとうございます。
それは無事賛同者を集められてからにしましょう。その折にはぜひ秘蔵のワインを開けて乾杯といきましょうの。
That was the last of their conversation. My grandfather kept his head bowed until Mr. Koizumi was gone. It sounded like he set up this great chance for my grandfather, so I bowed my head just like him.
聞いてたかい？ようやくチャンスが巡ってきたよ。
Yay, congrats.
私のレポートに関心を持ってくれる人が現れたのだ。
聞いてたよ。これでおじいちゃんの研究に協力してくれる人やお金を出してくれる人が現れるんだね。
まだそうと決まったわけじゃないさ。
Although he didn't want to admit it, he had a good feeling about it. The research he had conducted all alone was finally about to gain recognition.
再来週の日曜日なの？
忙しくなるぞ。 プレゼンテーションで第一印象のすべてが決まる。資料を読みやすく作り直したり、いや、人前できちんと説明できるよう少し練習をした方がいいかもしれない。とにかく手落ちがないようにしっかりやらないとな。
資料の作り直しは大事だね。おじいちゃんの字は読みにくいから少し大きめに書いた方がいいと思う。
とにかく忙しくなるぞ。再来週か。うかうかしていたらあっという間だ。
But I think the 2 weeks didn't come, right? Because he died.
そうだね。私もお手伝いするよ。ホルマリンの容器とかのホコリも拭き取らないとね。あと丸まった資料の反りを直さないと。絨毯の下に敷いて一晩も置いたら治るかな。
やらなければならないことは山ほどだな。ミオ、手伝ってくれるかい？
もちろん。学校休んでお手伝いする。
それはいかん。
We laughed together, thrust our fist into the air, and motivated ourselves to work hard toward the week after next. Since that day, my grandfather spent more time in his study. It's not easy to create a report that you're going to show other people. Copying machines haven't been invented back then. So everything had to be handwritten. He knows it's somewhere, but he just can't remember where he put the data he needs. As for me, I have to make sure I have enough guest cups to serve tea, so I'm counting them. Okay. Do I have enough tea leaves? Maybe I should get something to go with tea. My grandfather knows nothing about these things. There's a whole list of chores to do. I need to clean the windows so the room will be bright. What else? The 2 weeks pass quickly while we busy ourselves getting things done. What a wonderful 2 weeks it is. I can finally feel that I'm actually doing something to help my grandfather with his research. I hope the day of the meeting will be a memorable one for my grandfather. I hope that day will be a beautiful and clear one. Just as I wished. The day is beautiful. Evening. My grandfather, having dressed formally, paced around his study nervously. I am also in a beautiful dress. I've only worn it once before, at my piano recital. But I'm not nervous like my grandfather. His silly nervousness actually relaxes me. Are they here yet? Grandfather looked out the window. Then a black car stopped in front of the gate. Back then, a car was a luxury item. I don't think I had even one classmate whose family owned a car. So it only makes sense that the men coming out of the car looked respectable. Grandfather and I ran out to welcome them.
ようこそおいでくださいました。高野と申します。
So he doesn't die here. That's interesting. I thought it was before he could present his report, but I guess not. Maybe I don't remember the actual details right. It doesn't matter.
今日は本当にようこそ。
お召し物をお預かりします。
I greeted them and filled the role we decided ahead of time. Though my being relaxed by my grandfather's silliness ended at that point. Both my grandfather and I were stiff with anxiety as we greeted them now that the moment was here.
はじめまして先生。そしてはじめましてお嬢さん。いえ、お孫さんですかな？
孫です。ミオ、ご挨拶なさい。
はじめまして、高野美代と申します。
賢そうな子ですね。 本日は小泉先生の代理で参りました。小泉先生は急な用事が入ってしまい、本日は出席をすることができなくなってしまいました。そのことを大変残念がっておりました。
そうですか。それは残念です。
The person who set up everything isn't here. My grandfather even had his treasured wine ready, just as they promised 2 weeks ago.
皆さん、ご紹介いたします。こちらは高野一二先生です。高野先生はかつて軍部の貿易研究所におられ、伝染病予防分野の第一人者として活躍されておりました。
よろしく。
はじめまして。
お邪魔いたします。
The men are even older than my grandfather. They take off their hats one at a time to greet him. Their beards, expensive-looking canes, and glasses tell me they are very high up in the society. What the hell? Did I hear a noise? Huh, weird. Grandfather bows to each one of them.
それでは皆さん、どうぞ書斎へ。誇り臭い場所で大変恐縮です。どうぞこちらへ。みよ、皆さんにお茶の準備を。
はい。
I wasn't nervous at all earlier, but now I think I'm the most nervous one. I'm not the one making the presentation, and I'm not the one being evaluated, so it's ridiculous that I'm even feeling so nervous. I don't know if I should use that as my excuse. But I was so nervous that I knocked over the thermos I had filled to the brim with hot water, and ruined the black tea I'd chosen specifically for this day. I apologized to my grandfather and started to boil water again. I just need enough for the guests. By the time I had cups of tea and cookies ready, grandfather's presentation was at its key part.
血管もしくはリンパ管を破って脊髄へ侵入し、髄液を通って脳内に至るものと思われます。また死後の解剖結果、脳炎を起こしたものを複数件確認しています。類似の症状をもたらすウイルスは過去の事例を紐解いても数種類あり、その中でも代表的なものは。
Let me just say this right now. I'm so glad I don't have to read that, because I would not be able to pronounce it at all for the love of me. Like, holy crap. What? How do you... What the fuck? So thank you, Hifumi, for not forcing me to read that. Anyway. Grandfather said, walking between samples and formalin jars and pointing to several as he gave his explanations, there are over 100 formalin jars in here with parts of brains in them. Ew. Oh, God. Ew. Why? They were all very dusty, so I spent a few days cleaning them. I am rather proud to see the sparkling, there's no L in there, stupid, sparkling jars all lined up like this.
ただし、これらのウイルスが引き起こす症状は多岐にわたります。
Uh-huh. Oh, God damn you. On the other hand, symptoms of Hinamizawa syndrome are very specific to that disease.
それが喉を自らかきむしる自傷行為だとおっしゃるのですね。
Severe case, yes.
さようです。これについては死亡直前を知る兵士たちの目撃情報から分かっています。
What stage was that? There were different stages, right? Hallucinations being one. Clawing out your own throat, that's like, what, 4? 5? I don't remember. It's such little details, I don't... meh.
この自傷
Anyway,
行
sorry.
為はこれまでに知られてきたどのような病状にもありません。hinamizawa症候群独自のものです。また 末期患者にしか見られない行為であることから、これは一部の感染症に見られるのと同じエクソダスであると考えられます。感染者の体内で十分に成長し、幼虫を繁殖させた後、ウイルスは体外へ脱出し、次なる感染者を探すのです。
では、その血液にはウイルスもしくは陽性が満たされているわけであり、貿易の知識のない現地の兵士がそれに触れていたならば、彼らも感染していた可能性があるわけです。にもかかわらず、Hinamizawa出身者以外の兵士に感染例がないことをどうお考えですか？
これについては潜伏期間その他を疑ったのですが、Hinamizawaという地域だけに限定していることから考え、現地の特殊な気候その他があると考えられます。また辞書で詳しく取り上げておりますが、Hinamizawaの古い土着の信仰から考え、
ありえないですよ、高野先生。ウイルスに社会性があるなど聞いたこともない。
いえ、ですからこれこそがHinamizawa症候群の画期的な発見の一つでありまして。
The elderly gentlemen mumbled to each other while pointing at the data. With that, I finally realized things aren't going too well.
高野先生のご講説を賜りながら、先の資料を拝見させていただきました。まず申し上げて、脳内に潜伏したウイルスが人間の思想をコントロールするなど、全くもってありえないことです。人間の思考は、極めて高度な神の芸術ともいえる脳で作られます。
Okay.
また思想というものは人間の思考の中でも非常に上位のものであり、
don't need to bring the divine being into human anatomy and its parts, okay, and its organs and whatnot. God damn it. Son of a bitch.
それに介在するウイルスがいるなど考えられませんよ。同感です。思想とはつまり個より全体を優先した考え方とも言えます。つまり社会性を維持する最前提条件なわけですな。それが遺伝子を残すこと以上の欲求を持たないウイルスごときに宿るわけがない。生物学的にも言ってウイルス性の微細な生命体に社会性、新社会性が発見されたことは一度たりともありません。
しかし脳内の生命体が宿主の行動に干渉するケースは非常に多く報告されており、
高野先生は一つ誤解をされていますな。ウイルスが宿主の行動を支配する原理は常に生殖繁殖のためという極めて原始的理念に基づくものだけです。
Even in the example you used before of a rat infected with Toxoplasma gondii, I think, losing its aversion to cats, the altered behavior is simply a means to let their host be eaten by a better host in order to change hosts. Yeah, I've read that before somewheres.
ハリガネムシに寄生されたバッタの受水自殺がいい例ですな。ハリガネムシは十分に成長すると水生となります。その際、宿主であるバッタを水辺へ誘導して溺死させ、その体内から水中へ脱出する。
その通りです。私はHinamizawa症候群における自殺的な喉のかきむしりもそれに当たると考えまして。
For example, getting worms escape the body by having the host scratch the affected area.
そうです。すべてのウイルスの目的は繁殖のため。そんな存在が神の芸術ともいえる脳に潜伏し。
Okay, can we settle down with that, please?
いやいや、潜伏すること自体は別におかしいことではない。寄生し、人間の思想に影響を及ぼすなんて、はっきり申し上げて妄言です。
Why is that delusional?
いや、危険思想と言ってもいい。
Okay, so you're saying a parasite that's another biological form in the known universe here, especially on our planet, can't affect a host's brain. But you're also saying that later on, aka right now, especially, and later on in the future, with science and technology growing, you're all trying to manipulate fucking human brains and such. By chemical warfare or fucking technology with chips into the brain and shit. Yeah, it's the same fucking thing. Okay. You know what? This is back in the 80s, not 80s, but even further. Yeah. What am I going on about? Who am I? Where am I? Oh my god, I blacked out.
Hinamizawa という村が閉鎖的文化から独
I said
自
nothing.
の信仰を生み出したこと自体はそう不思議には思いません。
I'm just gonna take my drink of water and be defeated.
日本各地に散見するよくあるケースです。だとしたら日本中のそれらの文化は全てウイルスによるものなのですか？それらは文化的なものであってHinamizawaの件に限ってはウイルスによるもの。その区別をどう立証されたのですか？
いえ。ですから現地で死亡したHinamizawa出身兵士の解剖の結果からそうだと信じるに足る様々な。
失礼だが高野先生、信じるに足る臨床データだと語るには少々先生の収集されたケースは少なすぎます。しかもご自身で言われたように戦場という異常な状況下の話です。
ですから次の章で説明しますようにHinamizawa症候群は疑心暗鬼と緊張ストレスなどによる微妙なバランスが崩壊した時に
喉をかきむしるという特徴的かつ異常な自傷行為が複数件あったならば何かの共通性があるに違いないと疑われるのもユニークかとは思います。ですがだからこそ当てにならないのですよ。戦地という異常な状況下でたまたまレアなケースが重なっただけのことなんです。高野先生は重なった偶然を見てゲシュタルト的な構成主義にとらわれ法則性を見つけたように錯覚してしまったのではないかと考えます。
そうでないことを証明するにはHinamizawa症候群の感染者に対する膨大な臨床データが必要です。ですが倫理的に考えてこりゃ立証は不可能でしょう。
Isn't that what he's trying to do right now by getting you to fund his research so he can do just that by going to Hinamizawa and opening the whole data stuff and basically it's a domino effect and they're not letting the next domino to falter down, fall down. Conundrum. Yeah, whatever.
出身者がタタリだと了解する行為はどちらかというと文化依存症候群の範疇です。それに対しウイルスによる意識支配を重ねられることは失礼だが高野先生はユニークなHinamizawaの信仰に心酔しその結果ご自身が文化依存症候群に取り込まれてしまっているのではないかと考えます。いえ神秘的分野を研究する人間にはよくあり得ることですよ。我々も日々気をつけています。
The more they talk, the paler my grandfather's face becomes. I was just stunned myself. We've never heard of parasites like that. That's impossible. It was just a coincidence, and there isn't enough data. The talk goes on, and every time grandfather says something, they dismiss it like that. Before he knew it, my grandfather could only hold his silence before their criticisms.
ただ、
Yeah, criticize all you want, you
最初は
fuckers.
理解されないものです。高野先生の研究もそのうちの一つでないかと考えます。当時、どんなにバカバカしいと思われていた研究でも、その後、真実が解き明かされ、評価を改められるというのも、これまたよくある話です。
Unfortunately, that's true.
私は皆さんに比べれば素人です。
Hmm?
個人の研究家に過ぎず、一流大の出でもなければ学閥にも属していません。もちろん権威や研究所へのコネクションもありません。故に個人の研究ではこの程度のことまでしか調べられないのです。果たしてhinamizawa症候群が真実なのか、それとも皆さんがおっしゃられるように私の妄想に過ぎないのか。それを確かめるためにお力添えをいただくことはできませんでしょうか。
もちろん、これが世紀の大発見になるならば、一大センセーションを巻き起こすでしょう。何しろ、人間の文化や思想はすべて、ナノ単位の脳内生命体の意志によるもので、前頭葉は彼らを住まわせるだけの場所に過ぎないという。
Well, no, that's not exactly what he's saying. Oh my god. Yeah, that's all we're good for. Being broken down by parasites. That's, yeah, okay.
hinamizawa症候群が存在し、その感染者が感染によってその親代様信仰というものに組み込まれることがもし立証できたなら、地球上に存在するすべての宗教、いや文化国境さえもウイルスで説明できるかもしれないんですからな。
その話の壮大さはとてもユニークです。高野先生は我々のような人間にひっそりと論文を読ませるより、それで本を書かれて一般大衆に発表された方がよろしいでしょうな。
Grandfather looks at the ground, his fists trembling a little. But their words were far too cruel. I don't know anything about academics. I'm just a little girl. I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but Grandfather worked so hard by himself until today. But to prove his research and delve further into it, he needs sponsors. Yet those sponsors are casting him away, calling his research a delusion. That's outrageous. Like asking which came first, the chicken or the egg. Besides, if his research was at the level those cheeky men want to see, he wouldn't need their help. But they're saying that they can't help him unless they see some results that are beyond the level of private research. In any field, doesn't research always start out with just a little idea? If you can prove its existence beforehand, then what's the point of researching it to begin with? True. If a wild idea can't be the subject of research, how did we gain any knowledge at all? But never mind that. When Mr. Koizumi came 2 weeks ago, didn't he say they were really interested in his research? What's going on? This is the complete opposite of what he said.
Hi. 非常に興味深い研究だと思っております。脳はまだまだ未知の領域です。
この高野氏の論文は非常にユニークです。特に 優生学的見地からは無視できないものが感じられます。
人は神の子などでは断じてない。人も進化の洗礼を受けた動物に過ぎません。ならばダーウィンに従い、各地の環境に応じて進化には差が出てくる。つまり人類にはすでに優劣があるのです。国家としていかに優秀な血統を守り、より良い遺伝子を未来に残せるか、これを国策として掲げ研究せねば、来世紀において人類は致命的な序列を与えられることになるでしょう。
高野氏の研究は単なる感染症の域を超えるだけのポテンシャルを秘めていると言えるでしょうな。
次世代に残すべきでない劣悪な人間が、もし遺伝子によるものでなく感染症によるものであると解明できたなら、外科的手段によって構成が可能だということになる。結果、我が国は未来に素晴らしい人間を残すことができるでしょう。優生学的見地から高野氏の研究は早急に取り組まれるべきです。
これは世紀の大発見になる可能性がありますぞ。もし感染症疾患と個人の資質の因果関係が立証できれば、ノーベル賞どころでは済まんでしょうな。
小泉先生、この度の貴重な機会に深く感謝いたします。
高野くんは昔から一途で熱心な男での。だが人付き合いが下手くそでな。ずっと一人で研究してきたのだ。だが一人でできる限界を迎え、ようやく人に助けを求めることを覚えたんだな。どうか先生方、高野くんの話に耳を傾けてやってください。
恐れ多いですよ先生。むしろこの度のご縁にこちらが感謝したいくらいです。
私どもとしてはもう協力させていただくことは前提です。むしろ学会での縄張り調整の方が今後の急務ですな。
このようなユニークな研究を世界に先駆けて研究できるとは。この年になってこのような貴重な幸運に恵まれたのを感謝したいです。
There was a knock on the door. The sliding door opened, and the owner peeked in.
失礼いたします。お客様がお見えになっておりますが、お通ししてよろしいでしょうか。
客？はて、どちら様ですかの？
The owner whispered into Kazumi's ear, and his face turned pale all of a sudden.
お通ししてください。いや、私もお迎えに上がります。
As Koizumi stood up, two pairs of footsteps reached the door.
先生、このようなところへお越しいただけるとは。
小泉君、ご無沙汰だな。今日はちとどうしても君にしておきたい話があってな。
このようなところへお越しいただく。はい。体温ある先生の話とあっては聞かぬわけには参りません。何でもおっしゃってください。
The old man known as Koizumi was not someone whose status could be taken lightly. Although he had retired, he was still powerful enough to wield great influence as a fixer. So from his meek attitude, it was easy to figure out what kind of person this man must be. The old man held onto his bodyguard's shoulder as he walked. He had an expensive-looking cane in his other hand. He couldn't even walk on his own because of his old age, but his intense, commanding presence hadn't declined one bit.
単刀直入に言う。君の友人の研究な。あれ、やめさせなさい。
Ooh.
は？と申しますと。
小泉君、hinamizawa症候群は墓場まで持ってかなきゃならん。あれに手をつけちゃならねえんだ。あれを調べるとな、藪をつついて蛇を出すかもしれん。しかも 太くてでかい蛇をな。君がこのままガブリとやられるのを黙って見とるには忍びないのでな。ちょいと君の小耳に入れてやろうと思って今日は来たんだ。それの先生方にはお待ちいただいて。どうだ、ちょいと向こうの部屋でわしと飲まんか。
はい、お供させていただきます。
Kazumi realized that he was being pressured. He didn't know which direction it was coming from, but clearly some authorities weren't comfortable with the research on Hinamizawa syndrome, and were trying to stop him from supporting it.
小泉君、わかっているかね？この研究はパンドラの箱だということ。
Okay, this is... Okay, got it. I see where this is going. This is where he gets told of the information, and then he passes it on to, Male Takano. Of course, we already saw that scene, so whatever.
本日私どもがお邪魔したのは、資料になかったそれ以上の客観的何かが開示されるかもしれないことを期
And
待
then
した
because
から
of
です。
that, of what we just saw, this is why they're actually shutting him down. Right?
本来ならば本日お邪魔するにも値しない内容だったのを、小泉先生たっての願いということで義理を尽くさせていただいたまでです。
I don't really like the back and forth. It's kind of a little confusing. I mean, I just understood what was actually happening. Thank God. But some others probably got very confused what was going on. I don't really like the back and forth. It's a little annoying, but I understood it, thankfully. But yeah, hopefully it stops.
徒労ではありましたが、来て正解でした。あなたに適切なアドバイスをすることができるのですから。あなたは余生をこんなことに費やされるくらいなら、盆栽でも始めなさい。いいですぞ、盆栽は。
同感です。こんな書斎にホルマリンの瓶を並べていても不健康なだけですな。
しかし実にユニークな内容でした。あなたさえよければ出版社の社長を紹介しますよ。大衆にはこのくらいの刺激があった方がウケるでしょうからな。
They aren't even trying to hide their hostility. They are laughing at my grandfather, denouncing him, and saying things to denigrate not only his research but his personality as well. If they are simply trying to provoke him, any response would just be giving them what they want. Even in this very moment, Grandfather tried to remain a noble researcher and a proud human being. He's no longer trembling. On the contrary, he apologized to them for taking up their time, and told them he had no intention of keeping them any longer.
この論文はお返ししますよ。もっとも、これを論文と呼んでいいなら、学会もどれだけ気楽なことか。
Okay, you're going a little far there, boy. One of the elderly gentlemen tossed it back to him. Grandfather couldn't catch it in time. The article he worked so hard on fell onto the floor, and the paper scattered all over on the carpet. The elderly gentleman left the study without even apologizing for it. Everyone else followed suit. As they left, they trod all over my grandfather's article. It looked like grandfather's expression didn't change, but I could see it warping. I could see the wall of research grandfather bore crunching and warping sadly. I jumped. I grabbed onto the elderly gentleman's leg. I don't hate him. If I were asked if I hated him or not, the answer would be yes. But that's not the point here. What I really can't stand is this foot stepping all over my grandfather's article. I just want to move the foot that's standing on his papers. But the foot doesn't move, no matter how hard I push or pull, as if it's rooted to the floor. I felt someone grabbing me from behind. It was my grandfather.
孫が失礼をいたしました。さあ、どうぞこのままで結構ですので、後片付けは私どもの方でしますので。
My screams don't mean a thing to them. They completely ignored my screams. They continued to step on the papers and left the study. Only my grandfather and I remain in there now. My grandfather is still grabbing the back of my collar. I don't have any words left to say, only cries. My grandfather is determined not to show any emotion. He doesn't even open his mouth. So I have to cry for him. Just then my grandfather slapped me in the face. That startled me. I'm crying for him, so why did he slap me? Then I understand. Grandfather is the one who wants to cry, but he's enduring, so I shouldn't cry either. I wiped my eyes and my runny nose. Then I silently turned my eyes to the papers on the carpet, just like my grandfather.
ごめんだ、ミオ。
I don't understand why he's apologizing. I thought he was going to complain about their rudeness.
もっと私がしっかり研究できていれば、こんなことにはならなかったの。せっかく今日までミオがあれだけお手伝いをしてくれたのに、それを無駄にしてしまって、ごめんな。
How courageous he is. Even after that disaster, he's still concerned about me. I shook my head and put my hands on the floor. I tried to gather up the papers, but then they began to fall. My tears are overflowing again, blurring the ink on the papers. These are all handwritten by grandfather. He was so happy that finally there was someone who understood his research. He was so happy. He spent all night writing these. But they stepped on them. They might as well have stepped on my grandfather's very soul.
私の研究がまだまだ足りなかったんだ。もっともっと研究を重ねていたなら、こんなことにはならなかったんだ。ごめんな。本当にごめんな。おじいちゃんはもっともっと研究を重ねるからな。これくらいのことじゃくじけないからな。
I don't know if he's saying that to me or to himself.
大丈夫。神様は見ておられる。そして自分が評価されることを疑ってはならんのだ。いつか必ずきっと評価されるから、その日まで努力を怠ってはならんのだ。
Grandfather says that all the time. But I know the truth. God only plays with people's fates. He doesn't save anyone out of goodwill. That's why he let this happen to my grandfather, even though he's worked so hard and so humbly until today. That's why he let such a horrible thing happen to me when I was still an innocent little girl. Grandfather keeps repeating himself, but I know the truth. God exists. The existence grandfather believes in is real, but there's no mercy to be found in God. He delivers unreasonable fates and makes us call it a challenge. I can't tell my grandfather that, of course. I ask God, I ask God once more, like I did on the day of the thunderstorm. Why? Why can't you give my grandfather's effort and hard work the recognition it deserves? Grandfather told me that he'll gather up the papers, so I should put away the teacups. I nodded silently and put the teacups that haven't even been touched onto the serving cart. Rude motherfuckers. As I pushed it out of the study, Grandfather told me. He told me to close the door after I leave. I always close the door when I leave. He doesn't need to remind me. But that's what he wants. So without saying anything, I closed the door. Then, as I walked away from the study, I heard my grandfather sobbing. Tears filled my eyes once more. Sadness and disappointment. I almost feel angry with myself for not being able to do anything for him. Then I felt a cool breeze on my wet cheeks. The breeze was blowing in from a cracked open window. The curtain was flapping gently in the breeze. I heard the cry of the Higurashi. As I listened to them, I calmed down gradually. If I can ease Grandfather's pain by crying, I'll cry in his place. But that won't help. That won't help. On the contrary, he started to cry because I did. I'm being useless here. I remember that day. I remember the reason why I'm alive now. If he hadn't come and saved me, I would have spent the last days of my life lying in the corner of the bathroom as a human-shaped piece of meat. Grandfather saved me. He gave me back my rights. The right to walk. The right to stand up. The right to wear clothes. The right to eat. The right to speak. And the right to think. In other words, the right to live as a human being. Grandfather took action right after he got the phone call from me. He found my house, and he found out which orphanage I was sent to, after struggling through the sloppily filed records of the public office. Then he saved me. Of course, he was working on his research then. He spent his precious research time on saving me, a perfect stranger. I vowed that if his heart failed, I'd rip my heart out and give it to him. But of course, his heart is fine. So he doesn't need a heart. He needs something else that's equally important. That's something only I can give him in this whole world. I clenched my fists and held them so tightly that my nails left marks. I know now. I now know what I'm supposed to do with this new life as Mio Takano. I finally know. I know the reason why the new me was born. I know the purpose of Mio Takano.
それは小さな胸に宿る大きな決意。人の命がもしも地球より重いなら、私の小さな決意は地球よりも重い。
I thought I knew of my grandfather's greatness, but I actually didn't know the half of it. For me to be able to really help him, I have to reach his level. All my lessons led back to my grandfather. There wasn't a single subject I could ignore. Right now, studying hard is what I can do for him.
教師生活をして長いが、君ほどたゆみなく勉学に勤しんできた生徒は見たことがない。かといって決して勉強のみに視野が狭くなることなく、社交性も身につけ、多くの友人を作った。
勤勉なのは勉強することでしか至れない私の目標があるからです。社交性をおろそかにしないのは孤独な天才があまりに無力であることを知っているからです。
That's not enough.
私はまだまだ自分の望む姿に至れていないんです。大学に入るのなんて私にとっては単なる経過に過ぎない。そこで何が学べるかなんです。
I'm not even close. I'm not even close to being able to help my grandfather.
先生は君を教え子に持てたことを誇りに思う。 私立大でも国立大の医学部でも好きに選びなさい。今の君にとって倍率など何の意味もない。君にとって学ぶに値する学校であるかどうかだけが大事だ。
願いを成就し、望む未来を紡ぐ力。紡がれる糸の強さは意志の強さ。気高く強き願いは必ず現実となる。
Do I have what I need to be able to truly understand Hinamizawa syndrome and help grandfather in his research? I don't need compromises or excuses. The heights I seek are lofty and precipitous. This isn't enough, not even close. My classmates are such idiots, acting as if they are winners in life just because they entered the school. A college is simply a place to learn what I need to know. If this self-proclaimed best school isn't worth my time, I'm not interested.
まさか才女のあなたが伝染病圏に来られるとは思いませんでした。あなたほどの方なら引っ張りだこだったでしょうに。てっきりもっと見栄えのいい研究に関心を寄せられると思っていました。
私が学びたいこと、研究したいことが伝染病だからです。私は今日ここで学べる資格を得るために勉学に勤しんできました。
そんなことはありませんよ。入学試験を第1位で突破したあなたを拒むはずもありません。ようこそ伝染病圏へ。嫌われがちな学問でね。研究者はまだまだ少ない。だから他の学問に比べて未知の分野が多いのです。
That's quite true. The study of parasites is a mysterious world. Or rather, it's an ignorant one. An ignorant world where the preconception that the parasites can't possibly control humans pervades. And those ignorant people laughed at grandfather and stepped all over his article.
伝染病の世界にはまだまだ解き明かされていない未知があります。私はそれを解くために、それを解こうとする人の力になるためにここまでやってきたのです。実現の約束された願いはもはや願いとは呼ばない。それはつまりもはや運命。私が紡ぐのは運命。運命は個人だけじゃなく、人を、世界を支配する絶対の力。
Learning isn't enough for me. I have to be able to research with my grandfather, and so I don't ignore the means to gain the help my grandfather couldn't get. Grandfather's research isn't complete just when it's finished being written on a desk. I need the help of plenty of people to present it to the world, so his great work will be praised by many.
そうです。当会は大学院の首席卒業生のみに入会資格を与えている同窓会組織です。毎年7人の入会者のみしか認めておりませんので、一般的な同窓会組織と比べると小規模ですが、その結束は比べようがありません。
そのような会へお誘いいただき、とても光栄です。私ごときでよろしければ、ぜひ末席を賜れればと思います。
いえいえ、あなたほどの実績と経歴をお持ちの方を末席などとんでもない。先輩方もあなたを歓迎されるでしょう。会の名簿には現役大臣、高級官僚、大企業の社長や顧問などが名を連ねています。彼らはあなたを必要とし、あなたが必要とする協力を与えるでしょう。
小泉先生もこの会におられたのですね。私の祖父の親友だった方です。まさかここでまたご縁があるとは。
そうでしたか。きっと小泉先生もあなたの入会を歓迎されることでしょう。
An isolated genius is a useless one. People live in society. Society is made up of connections between people. Nobody can ignore that. I do my best as an individual. But to gain the power that can't be achieved as a mere individual, I have to rely on my connections in society. It's all for one purpose. My only wish as Mio Takano. Yes, I can't spare any effort.
私の絶対の意志が絶対の未来を紡ぎ出す。誰にも邪魔できない。誰にも覆せない。サイコロの1なんて認めない。けなげな努力が偶然の事故だけで打ち消されるなんて認めない。全てのサイコロを6にしてやる。サイコロを神になんか委ねない。不運になんか委ねない。神に祈るのは自らに努力を尽くさぬ愚か者のすることだ。私は神などに委ねない。全ての結果は私が紡ぎ出す。私の強固な意志が神にさえ介在できない絶対の未来を作り出す。それは祖父が教えてくれた神になる方法とは違う。それは生きながらにして神に至る方法。それに気づいた時、私はようやく解放される。それは両親を失った時の悲しい記憶、その後の辛い生活、そして論文を踏みにじられた時に見せた祖父の涙。そう、私は神の域を超えるのだ。神の気まぐれなどに負けない存在に。祖父の研究を認めさせてやる。それは私が望む未来、約束された未来。人々が祖父の論文を奪い合って読み合う。かつてないがしろにされ踏みにじられたその論文をうやうやしく手に取って読むのだ。たとえその日を待たずに祖父に死が訪れたとしても、その程度の運命に私が泣くことなどないのだ。だって祖父はすでに私に教えてくれている。たとえ死んで土中に埋められた身であっても復活できることを。私が祖父の偉業を完成させ、世界中が祖父を称える。その時祖父は復活を遂げ、神となり永遠となる。それは永遠の絆。どんな交通事故でもちぎれない。神がいくらサイコロの1を並べようとも。両親を事故で失った日から私の人生は全てサイコロの1だった。でも私はそれに負けずここまでやってきた。サイコロの目など私は超越する。サイコロの目は私が決める。運命すらも私が決める。くじけぬ絶対の意志で。
診療所はいつ開くんかいね。クーラーがついてるとええの。来月にゃ診療開始って書いてあった。すったら若い先生だと
ええの。I heard some old ladies talking amongst themselves when I was going up the stairs to the shrine. The Erie Clinic is already completed, and it's waiting and ready for opening day. The state-of-the-art equipment has been delivered, and the research is waiting to begin as well. Erie, too, is standing by in top form, and he's almost as passionate as I am about Hinamizawa syndrome. The Mountain Dogs, the counterintelligence unit to support and protect our research, are already stationed at a dummy company somewhere near Okonomiya. They are getting in touch with various public institutions. Everything is going well. The only thing to worry about would be the rumors about the Hinamizawa Dam construction plans. There's a rumor that the Ministry of Construction is pushing through a dam project that will submerge all of Hinamizawa, but they're under pressure from several groups. None of my contacts have much influence in the Ministry of Construction, so things aren't going well. Even if applying pressure doesn't work, there are other measures, so either way, it'll come to a deadlock. I'm not being optimistic. I just know that's how it'll end. I will conduct research here in Hinamizawa. I'm going to accomplish that with my absolute will. That's why, even if God rolls a 1 on the die and says that he's going to submerge Hinamizawa, I will not be afraid. I won't entrust my die to God. I'm the one who's going to pick up the die, and I'm going to roll a 6. I didn't come to the shrine to declare war on the god of this place. I came because I know that you can get a great view from up here. I walked by the shrine and headed to the spot I found the last time I visited. It's the perfect spot for overlooking the entire village. The strong wind reminds me that I'm only at the starting line, and that there will be a headwind before I reach my goal. I looked over the village without faltering in the wind. Grandfather approached the syndrome from a medical point of view, but he also approached it from a folkloric one as well. The strange belief system in this village is proof that the existence of Hinamizawa syndrome was already known of even in ancient times. So it'll be extremely useful to research their history too. My grandfather hadn't been doing research for hundreds of years, of course. But this place has been here for hundreds of years, and they've been living with Hinamizawa syndrome for that long. Therefore, the beliefs created in this place and the legend itself can be considered the foremost researchers. It's simply stupid to just call them old folk tales and or nonsense. I've been researching them slowly, but they are indeed very interesting. No wonder grandfather was intrigued by them. Hinamizawa syndrome has many fascinating sides to it. It's just like a kaleidoscope, showing infinite light with ever a slight change in angle. It's so much fun to trace grandfather's research. Finding the same results as my grandfather reminds me that I am indeed following in his footsteps, which make me very happy. The shrine is dedicated to Oyashiro-sama. Ooh, it's good to say that again. Oyashiro-sama. The guardian deity of this village. But this god the villagers worship is simply a delusion that was created by the parasites. When I solve their secret and announce it to the world, the god of this place will be no more. That's the moment I will take revenge on the one who put me through misery and tested my fate. That's it, isn't it? This isn't just about making my grandfather's dreams come true. It's also about getting revenge for my miserable life. I went back to the front of the shrine. There's an offertory box there, and I'm tempted to throw in some coins. But you normally offer coins to ask for mercy. I don't entrust my fate to God, so I don't need to give an offering. I'm going to unmask him. But until then, Oyashiro-sama is a god. Okay. In that case, I'll show respect for now. As a declaration of war, I pulled out a 10-yen coin from my wallet. The 10-yen coin I found in a telephone booth changed my life. If it hadn't been there, my life would have ended then.
あの1枚の10円玉に関してだけはあなたに感謝するわ。
I'm not grateful to the god of the shrine, though.
でもね、あの程度で 私はあなたを許したつもりなんてない。そして私はあなたのご利益なんか期待せず、自分の努力だけでここまでやってきた。今後あなたがどんな理不尽な運命を与えようとも、そんなものにはびくともしない絶対的に強固な意志の力で、私は私の理想を勝ち取ってみせる。
My grandfather will be praised, and become a god because of the research I'll do in this place. I will defeat the god of this village, and become an existence above even gods.
いつから私は神という言葉にこだわるようになったのかしらね。祖父がいつも神様を引用した話ばかりするからかしら。
Here, this is the 10 yen coin you gave me before. My debt's paid off now. You just keep clinging to your throne and tormenting people with your trials, while I fight my battles to knock you down from there. And so, I chucked the 10 yen coin I once borrowed from God into the offertory box. For a moment, I couldn't understand what happened. The 10 yen coin was supposed to fall into the offering box. But how can I explain this? That's not what happened. I aimed correctly for certain. Who would miss an offertory box anyway? That's not it. Because the 10 yen coin stopped in midair as if it got stuck in a spider web. Then it bounced back to me and fell by my feet. Take your pity change and get the fuck out of here. It was as though the offertory box had refused the coin. Of course, an offertory box is to respect God. But what I did was challenge him. That means this is... I jumped, because I thought I was the only one there. Anyone would jump when finding there's someone else standing there unexpectedly. Hanyū! How long has she been there? It's like she came out from the shrine. A mysterious girl is standing on the other side of the offering box. She's wearing a shrine maiden uniform, so she must be one of the caretakers here. That's what I thought too, but there's something else about her. She's not just one of the shrine caretakers. She is the shrine itself. Because the girl is staring into my eyes. No, she's glaring. I smiled back fearlessly. I think she heard my words of challenge to God. She's wearing that expression on her face because of that. The words came out naturally.
あなたがここの神様ね。
Well, those horns right there aren't for show. The girl didn't nod, but I took that as a yes. What a contradictory feeling. Yeah. I'm rejecting the god of this land and denying its very existence. Yet I don't doubt this girl is that god. The girl opened her mouth to speak.
強い意志は運命を強固にします。
そうよ。
That's what I say to myself often. I've never said that to anyone or quoted it from anything. So, under normal circumstances, I should be surprised to hear this girl say that. But this girl isn't human, so I'm not surprised. I replied to her.
神は運命のサイコロを振り、そのデメで人間をもてあそぶ。でも 人間には意志の力がある。その力が強ければ強いほどサイコロの目などに人は縛られない。わかる？人は極限まで努力を積み重ねることで誰にもくじかれることのないくらいに強固な意志を持つことでサイコロの目に左右されない力を得るのよ。
はい、よくわかりますのです。揺るがない信じる力はどんな運命もサイコロの目も打ち破りますのです。
そうよ。それはつまりサイコロにてもてあそぶ神々への人間の復讐。神々の干渉を排して自ら運命を切り開く人間の賛歌。どんな不運にも耐えて今日も努力で獲得した私の神々しさを知りなさい。
Spiteful laughter flowed out of my mouth. But the girl's face displayed a strong will of her own. Her expression didn't even change a bit.
僕はようやくわかりましたのです。
Oh shit. CG baby. Alright.
何度繰り返しても決して覆せぬこの運命はあなたの強固な意志の力ゆえ。
そうよ。強い意志は運命を強固にする。鋼のように鍛えられた運命はいかなるサイコロの目にも動じない。それはすなわち絶対の未来。
それを幾百年を生きる僕たちでなく人の身であるあなたが知るとは認めますです。あなたは限りなく神に近い場所にいる。
それは光栄ね。
The girl glared at me with her eyes half shut. No. It was more like she was proclaiming something to me while displaying her own strong willpower.
僕は
Ah!
あなたに負けない。
My god.
かつて僕たちはどう戦ってもあなたに勝てないと思った。だから僕はあなたに屈した。
Oh shit. So she's okay. I get it.
地に落ち、輪廻の中を這いずりながらみすぼらしく生きた。でもあの子は気づきましたのです。
So we're in the last, well, I shouldn't say last, but we're in the quote-unquote fragment, if you catch my drift.
信じる力が運命を切り開く奇跡を起こすと。
私の強い意志が作り出す運命にあなたの強い意志がそれを打ち破る奇跡を起こすというわけ。道理ね。
Because that's the law of this world. A strong will can make a desired future possible.
僕たちはあなたの意志の強さに負けないのです。
古き神の座に執着するのも大いに結構。あなたの意志が私の意志に勝てるか。神は人を試すが、人が神を試してはならない不条理。だからあえてあなたを試してあげるわ。お前の意志の強さが私の意志の強さに勝てるかどうかを試してごらんなさい。
That's clearly a declaration of war from me to God. This is the beginning of my revenge towards God, who put me through so much misery. And this girl, this God, is accepting my challenge directly.
僕は
Hell yeah.
あなたに比べてあまりに非力だけれども、あなたに比べてあまりにできることが少ないけれど、たとえ
Ooh, this music.
あなたに及んだとしても、
Hell yeah.
それぐらいでは覆せないくらいに圧倒的な力の差ではあるけれども。
そうね、私は圧倒的な力を得たわ。その力を得るために今日までどれほどの強い意志を持ち初心を貫徹してきたか。貴様ごとき小娘では私に指一本触れることもかなわないでしょうね。
分かってる。あなたの強大さは分かってる。それに比べて私や私の仲間たちの力はあまりにか細いかもしれない。でも私は諦めないことを選ぶことができる。三途の河原で永遠に石を積み続けるように、あなたのサイコロに1が並び、私のサイコロに6が並ぶその日まで、気が遠くなるほどの長い時間、あなたに屈しないことで意志の強さを示してみせよう。そして河原に石が積み上がった時、私たちはその川を越えることができ、あなたの前に対等な存在として現れるでしょう。その時こそこの長きにわたる運命の戦いに決着がつく。
ならば結構、どちらの思いが強いか。強かった方が未来を作る。強かった方の望んだ未来が訪れる。私の未来を一歩も譲らない。その未来では祖父の偉業は称えられ神となり、かつて私を不幸にて試すような真似をした神に対して復讐をする。
Stupid little god. I'll show you.
貴様を神の座から引きずり下ろしてやる。かかってこい、この。
Ooh, baby, it's on. Let's do it. All right. I was exhausted. I still am. But that got me pumping. Oh, yes. Chapter 8. Matsuribayashi. Oh, yeah, my knuckles are ready, baby. Let's do it. All right. So, I hope you're all ready for the next one. Oh, okay, we got another intro. Okay, cool. You know, it was an accident in Umineko. It's an accident in Higurashi. But I love making accidents happen, baby. Mwah, magnificent. Alright. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna have to mute this audio. I'm sorry. I won't mute it completely. I'll probably leave a little sliver where you can hear it. I'll probably still get copyrighted for it, but I don't know. If I do, big whoop, I guess. I don't know. I'll leave it up to myself when I'm editing the whole fucking video with my screw-ups and shit. There were some points where I fucked up so bad for a minute straight. Thankfully, I have the power to edit that. Anyway. And yes, I won't be doing the side story stuff like what you're seeing here with some of the CG happening there. I just don't feel like it. I can't believe we're here! Oh, hell yeah. Chapter 8, baby. And then I have to binge watch the new anime for it. Which apparently is new, right? I've been hearing rumors. I haven't watched it because I like to binge watch new stuff. And of course, there's going to be spoilers, even if you catch only a glimpse of it while scrolling through Facebook or Twitter or whatever, you know. So, yes, I saw some stuff by accident, and apparently it's new stuff, not old stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, no spoilers, please. But yeah, I'm going to have to watch that and see what the fuck is going on. I may actually do a feedback on every single episode. Maybe that'll be interesting. With that, I don't know if you all would like that. I mean, if you would like to see me do feedback analysis on every single episode of the new anime, sure. I mean, they would only be like between 2 minutes and maybe 5 minutes. They're going to be short videos. They're not going to be like an hour long fucking me rambling on about it. But yeah, it might be interesting to do. So yeah, let me know. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling on even now. When I'm supposed to be ending the video. So yeah. Thank you for sticking around. Looks like things are starting to finally get spicy. And I am looking forward to it. So I hope you all are as well. And if you are, please stick around. And also, I would very much appreciate it if you all like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because there will be more Higurashi and Minagoroshi coming soon. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, please, as a reminder, stay sinful, folks.